Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through the K&N Series 63 AirCharger Cold Air Intake for the 11 and newer 3.6 liter charger. Now before we get into the details guys, keep in mind later on in the video our customer Alexander is going to be walking you through the install process from start to finish, starting with getting your factory intake off of your charger and replacing it with the new K&N. So thank you Alex for walking all of our customers through that, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the video. Now before we get to the install, let's talk details of the actual cold air intake. Now you should be checking this out for your own 3.6 liter charger if you're looking to upgrade your factory more restrictive air box and inferior factory drop-in filter with an upgraded aftermarket option that's going to help your engine breathe a lot better, give you a small bump in horsepower and torque, and an increase in throttle response and acceleration, all with a washable, reusable, aftermarket oiled filter. Now K&N is a brand that is an absolute staple in the cold air intake community and the filter community. They've been making extremely high quality products for decades now, and their filters are some of the best. Now those are gonna help you filter out those microparticles, that dirt and dust that you don't want making its way into your intake and ultimately your engine, that can bog down and rob you of some power and diminish the lifetime of your engine. Now the particular K&N Series 63 we're looking at today uses an oiled filter, an oversized oil filter made from a cotton gauze synthetic material. Now that cotton gauze is a lot more opened up compared to your factory paper element drop-in filter, which is a dry filter. That paper element is really closed up and not optimized for pulling in the most cold air. It does a pretty good job filtering out materials that you don't want getting in, but it's not optimizing for airflow. Now the new K&N option here, being an oiled filter, uses that cotton gauze a lot more opened up, pulls in more volume of air, that cold air coming from the outside of your vehicle. That oiled filter mixed with that cotton gauze material is going to help block out those microparticles. So it does a better job with filtration and a whole lot better job pulling in more air. Now it is an oversized filter. It's a 360-degree conical air filter. It's about 6.5 inches, so much larger than your factory flat paper element. And because of that, you're getting a lot more volume coming in simply because of the size as well. Now the nice thing about this kit is it uses an open air box, one that just uses a simple billet aluminum heat shield with some weather stripping on top to block in or keep in that cold air for the filter while blocking out the excess engine bay heat. So it does a really good job giving you that best of both worlds. The rest of the kit uses a roto-molded plastic material for the tubing. It's great for heat dissipation and it blends in really well with the textured matte black material in the rest of the engine bay. Now some guys might be looking for maybe a show car pop under the hood. If you're looking for something that's polished, K&N has those options as well. This K&N Series 63 uses a red oiled filter with a black tubing to blend it in just a little bit more. Because of the open air box too, you get that easy access to your filter when it comes time for routine maintenance. By the way, using a washable and reusable oiled filter like the one from K&N means that you don't need to do any maintenance for up to 100,000 miles depending on your driving conditions. Now obviously if you're located in an area with a dry climate, maybe seeing a little bit more air pollution, you might want to look into doing some maintenance a little bit more often than maybe someone who lives in a moderate climate that has a little bit more clean air that might not see that off-road debris that you'd be getting in say a desert climate. Now, taking that a little bit further, if you're looking at oiled versus dry filters, this one using oiled. Now, they're within 1% of each other when it comes to performance, but an oiled filter is just going to require that little bit more maintenance when it comes to re-oiling it. Now, if you're located in those dry climate areas, you might see an oiled filter get clogged up a bit more, in which case the dry filter would be less maintenance for you. It's personal preference and it all depends on your application. Now, this one here is going to come in at right around $400, making it a little bit more in the middle of the pack when it comes to pricing. Some of them can be closer to $500, and you can go down as low as maybe $150, $200 depending on what you're looking for. The K&Ns are typically known to be some of the better options, so it does fall a little bit higher, but not at the top end of the spectrum. So right there in that middle $400 range, and the install is going to get 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Now the install, guys, is going to take you about an hour from start to finish. It is extremely simple to get a factory intake off of that 3.6 and replace it with a new upgrade. And our customer Alexander is gracious enough to walk you through that process from start to finish. They'll show you guys everything from getting that factory intake off and replacing it with your K&N here. Now at this point, I'm going to hand it right off to Alexander.
All right, so here's the tools we use. This is just the ratchet, 9/16, half, and this is the 10 millimeter. This is the 8 millimeter, just a flathead. All right, so this is the video for AmericanMuscle. So this is the 2015 Charger. We got the stock air intake. We're gonna switch it out for the new K&N Cold Air Intake. So first step we need to do, we're gonna take off the engine cover. it just clips off right there. All right, now after the cover's off, we need to take this clamp off with I just used a flathead screwdriver just to loosen that. And then we need to undo the sensor here, unplug that. And then now we need to take this part off here so we can use our 8mm. Take this part off. And then I just used a flathead to take these off. 1, 2, 3. To get this head off. And then once all those are off, take this tube off from there. All right, once that's all taken off, we need to just gently take it out from the throttle body here. Make sure it is gets unclipped from the down here. And just gently take that off. And then we can take the top half. There. And we have our nice dirty filter. Take that out. All right, so here's this part here, the shield. So you got the rubber parts, you put that all around the edge. And now to put this on the inside, come into here. Actually, before you put that in, we do have the rubber grommet. Stick this part in, down into there. And then now we have the washer and the bolt. And we're gonna just put this in here. Don't tighten it all the way, just kind of get it started. And then now for this part, we're gonna mount the L bracket. So this is the sequence right here. So we have the bolt, washer, L bracket, this washer, a little thicker. Then we have another washer, and then the bolt. Put that on. All right, so we got this tube here. It's gonna be the fatter one. It's the 5/8 shorter. We use this, put a little sealant on the threads. Let's stick it in here. We're gonna put it on the longer side. So we'll screw that in. Make sure this part is parallel with this side. So we got clamps on. So make sure this more rubber, the bigger one is on this side. 2 same size clamps. Make sure that they're indexed like this so you can get to them easier, that they're lined up. And then we got the sock right here. Make sure the letters on the outside, that's the smaller side. And we use this is number 56 in the manual, so it's a bigger one. We put that on the outside here. And then this is the smaller one, the smallest one. So this is the 95 millimeter. And we put that right there, right on the outside. Same thing. Make sure that they're lined up for when we do insert it. Now we put the plastic tube, the oil filter, put the sock over there, right in the throttle body. Slip it right in there. Line it up. Take this tube and just plug it right into here. So if it's a 5/8 tube, it's gonna fit nice and tight in there. There you go. All right, so once you have it onto the throttle body, hose is attached, and this is when you have your 1/2-inch bolt, and you hook it up onto here. So you have your bracket that's hooked onto the grommet here. So you gotta be careful when you are taking off your stock that this grommet doesn't come off. So I had to take it off the original one, or the stock. So it's that grommet down there, this bracket, and then this 1/2 inch we're just gonna go into here. Don't tighten it all the way down though. Just get it a little bit in there. All right, so right here for the sensor that we took off from the stock. So what we had to do with the K&N tube here, we had to drill a hole actually right there to install the grommet. It was about like the 1/2 inch hole to get the grommet in there. And then you gotta take off the factory O ring on the sensor, which was this guy. Had to take that off. And then we were able to push that in so the sensor can get attached. All right, now we need to install this part, which is before the actual filter. But before I did that, I really tightened this part down with this bolt. It's a 9/16. And then I got this L bracket all tightened up. So that bolt on this side, on that side. So that's, this was, what was it? That was a 10 millimeter. So I'll hold that down. And so yep, to get this side, to get that really tight, first I did that one, and then I tightened down this spot on top with the 8 millimeter. So I tightened down the L bracket side with the 10 millimeter, then I got it with the 8 millimeter. Got that all snug. Now for this one, you need to line up threads on this side here. And the sequence and how these go in are like this. So you got those two washers right here with the screw. Just hand tighten them. All right, so to get these tightened down, I use the Allen wrench. It's 5/32. Get those nice and tight, and then once those are tight, we can get this back over. All right, so now got this attached to the shield, so we're gonna tighten down everything basically right now with the clamp, the C-clamp. And I just use the flathead to tighten. Make sure they're lined up. And then now put this filter right over what we installed right there. This is your biggest clamp. Tighten right there. Make sure it's nice and snug. All right, but then, so you get everything nice and tight. All right, so I did it with the flathead. We'll do it with a wrench now, get it really tight. So this is a 5/16. If you have another wrench, an 8mm actually works as well. So I'm just gonna really tighten them down now. Make sure we're all set. All right, now got it all installed. This is what it looks like, the K&N Air Intake, Cold Air Intake. So now we just gotta put the engine cover on. This is what it looks like. Let's see what it sounds like.
Well, that's gonna wrap up my review and Alexander's walkthrough of the K&N Series 63 AirCharger Cold Air Intake for the 11 and newer 3.6 liter charger. Get yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.